The third season of Sex and the City's Reboot series has just come out, and there's a lot of press around it right now. A lot of fans are unsatisfied. And Sarah Jessica Parker recently did an interview in promotion of this new season, saying that Carrie Bradshaw is unfairly maligned because she's a female character and they're held to a different standard. This was her quote. A male lead on a show can be a murderer and people love him, and if a woman has an affair or behaves poorly or spends money foolishly, there's a kind of punitive response to it. I think, fundamentally, Carrie Bradshaw is an extraordinarily decent and good person, an extremely devoted friend. She's generous of spirit and time. So, I have not watched Sex and the City. You have. Brett has not either. Carrie Bradshaw, from what I understand, she has an affair with a married man in the show. Mm-hmm. Mr. Big.
That's the least of.
That's all I know about her, but you said she's a demon.
She is demonic. She is not. She is inhabited by Pazuzu. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's really what it is. There is a demon that lives inside of Carrie Bradshaw. She is the most unpleasant person to ever exist. If you have to see her face in this show, if a conversation is ever not about her for 2 seconds, it's like venom on her lips. She is demonic. And so the thing is, I actually really liked the original Sex and the City. I'm surprised you haven't. It's got to be like the only show not on your mega list of shows.
It's not my genre.
I think
you watched Pretty Little Liars, to
Yeah,
be fair.
I was doing a lot of drugs at that time.
The thing is, though,
maybe if I was still doing drugs, I would have watched Sex and the City eventually. Maybe. Ironically, to start, and then I'm like halfway through season 1. I'm like, damn,
this is actually kind of.
You would begrudgingly like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's got Willie Garson in it, right? I like Willie Garson.
Really?
Yeah.
He annoys me.
He's in White Collar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, but the thing that made the original Sex and the City so good is that it was 4 totally different perspectives. So you had the conservative one, you had the slutty one, and them sort of disagreeing and arguing with each other. But now they have the reboot. The thing is, you're not allowed to have different perspectives now, so there's no conflict on this show. There is no disagreement. Everyone just nodding their heads while Carrie talks about herself. So, can I spoil some things?
Yeah, go ahead. It's been out
this
for like
show,
eternity.
So I've been doing. If anyone wants to check out on my YouTube channel, I have the entire season 1 hate watch party. If anyone else cares about this mess, it is the most horrible show to ever exist. So, the entire reboot, it's called And Just Like That, is basically framed as an apology for the original series, which people actually enjoyed. So they first of all, they gave each of them an emotional support minority. They each have a woman of color. If you look up the poster for this current season, they literally have their emotional support minorities walking 2 steps behind them. I'm not even making this up.
They're ladies in waiting.
Yeah, who just sit there and listen to them talk about themselves, and like the black characters can only talk about black things and the gay characters can only talk about gay things. It's very identity obsessed. And so they decided that they were going to have this reboot be about social issues. Which social issues, you ask? All of them. Every issue. Just throw every single one against the wall. So, spoiler, Carrie kills her husband at the beginning.
Oh.
He dies a death by Peloton, while Carrie, the demon Pazuzu, being so self-obsessed, just stands there, doesn't call an ambulance, doesn't do anything, just lets her husband die, pockets all his money, keeps his ashes in her closet. She's like, well, it's okay, they're next to my very best shoes. And then buys a mansion with his money. It is unbelievable. So, okay, that's not even the worst part. So
Death by Peloton is so COVID coded.
I know.
Oh yeah, they have everyone else in masks in the beginning. Not her, of course.
The first season was 2021.
I'm sorry, but I will never watch anything that acknowledges that COVID happens.
Same.
I don't want that in my stories.
Well, but anyway, in the original Sex and the City, you had the men they dated who were, actually attractive or interesting in some way. We can't have that now. So in the most recent episode, they had one of their husbands piss his pants. We had the other husband that she left for a woman because he couldn't satisfy her sexually after they're married for 20 years. That they killed Mr. Big, so we're not allowed to have any men that are anything other than these eunuchs. Then you have Charlotte, who was the conservative one in the original, who is now the wokest of the woke. And there's an entire storyline where they trans her 12-year-old. Her 12-year-old daughter The school,
Ew.
her and her husband get called into a meeting at school where they are alerted, oh, Rose is now Rock. She is now a boy named Rock, and the school changed her name, changed her gender, changed everything, kept it from them as a secret. And there's about 2 seconds where the husband is so close to getting it, and they're walking out after, and they're like, and he says, oh, for somebody who's not your child's parent to tell you what your child is, it's very humbling. Humbling, you moron! They transed your child. It's not humbling. It's satanic. It's demonic. Yeah. It's repugnant. It's abhorrent. It's not humbling. And you never hear another word about it. Now she is a 12-year-old he. Oh my God, the rage that this show fills me with. I can't.
And this is just in the 3rd season.
Oh, that was just the first. That was just the first season.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even gotten up.
Have
to
you kept
season.
up with it?
I'm doing. For anyone who joins my locals, we're doing weekly hate watch parties because for some reason I'm very bad at breaking up with shows and I can't quit this mess. Oh, then they had the non-binary. That they had a big fat non-binary lesbian that Miranda left her husband for to go scissor with the non-binary. Oh my God, and then Rosie O'Donnell comes in. Rosie O'Donnell has entered the chat. And Rosie O'Donnell is a virgin lesbian nun that Miranda gets it on with.
Yeah, I saw that headline. Unfortunately, I saw like the still image, which
I knew it was bad, but I was not prepared for you to just drop all of those bombs.
Oh, that's not even they act like these women. First of all, they act like they're bumbling idiots who, after living in New York their entire lives, had never met a black person. So the first episode of it, Miranda is like taking some new law class. She's back in school, and the professor is a black. So they have an entire scene. She goes, oh, "You're the professor? But you're black. But you have braids. Can I touch your hair?"
Oh.
It is unbelievable.
Wow. And it's funny because the original Sex and the City series gets a lot of flack, especially from conservatives, because they say this show brainwashed women into glamorizing meaningless hookups and careerism. And they even talk about how the author of the original book in 1996 regretted having frozen her eggs and chosen to prioritize her career over starting a family. And she's like the ultimate collateral damage of this cultural movement that she started herself. But it sounds like the reboot is like the logical conclusion, actually, to the original. If you think about it. Which is painful for you to hear as a fan of the original, but it might be true.
There is some truth to that. I would say, as an aside, there is the flip side of that shown in the original, that there is the more conservative character who wants a family. And that's the thing. The character in the original is more conservative, and all she wanted was a family and to be a wife and mother. Now in the reboot, she hates her family. She just wants her career.
She's the one who left her husband?
Oh, no, that's the other one. She's barely hanging on with her husband.
Okay, so none of them ended up happy.
No. Well, and then Carrie, they have her now, since for her, apparently, she's so miserable and so demonic that there are only ever been 2 men in the entire world that want to date her. There's Mr. Big, who she killed, and now there's Aiden. So they got her back with her ex-boyfriend from 20-something years ago. And these two are having a relationship that no 2 human beings in the history of time have ever had. Because they're together, and then he says, well, my son, who's like 17, has some issues. Or no, I guess I don't know. He's younger than that. Because he says to her, I really want to be with you, but I can't talk to you for 5 years. So in 5 years, when my son is 18, let's get back together. But now they're getting back together anyway, and it's disgusting. It's a mess.
Wow. So I'm surprised they ended the original series with her marrying the guy who was cheating on his wife with her.
It was meant to be romantic.
And that was supposed to be the big happy ending at the end of the original show.
Yeah.
Back when what year was that?
2004, I think.
Wow. And women saw that story and they thought that was romantic and that was aspirational.
Well, she cheated on Aiden with him, And now she circled back to him after killing the one husband. She's going to put this guy in his grave, too.
A huge amount of Hollywood will always just kind of find a way to dance around the idea. Like it's the idea in their minds that both of them cheating on their spouses meant that they were meant to be together, without acknowledging that you're both just really bad people.
Right.
Now, to be fair, like when male characters would do this in movies and television shows, it was a way to frame them as complicated. Like
morally
Tony
gray.
Soprano.
Morally great, yeah, like a character who's like he's great at work. He's he's the president. He's a great guy. He's saved the world multiple times through diplomacy, but he cheats on his wife like literally every day. I think Scandal with what's his name's Tony Golden's character is like with Olivia Pope, kind of in that way where it's like they're not bad people, they're just complicated because they don't focus on that aspect of it. They don't focus on the morality of cheating because it's kind of painted as inevitable.
They actually kind of did in the original that she had her friends tell you, this is disgusting, you're a terrible person for doing this, that you can't have that now. That would be, they say many times in this
That would
reboot,
never happen today, even in real life.
We can't have judgment. Judgment is very bad. And I'm thinking, and I'm watching this reboot should really be called No Sex, No City. That's basically what it is. Because New York that's been destroyed by the communists that they vote for. So they say many times in it, I don't want to judge you. We can't have judgment. I'm like, they're in New York, a city that has recently put vending machines on public sidewalks with crack pipes in them. That is what happens when you get rid of judgment. Judgment is a good thing.
Wow. The vending machine thing.
Sorry, not to go off.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
That's not something in a TV show.
That's a real thing.
Okay. Wow.
That's the state of New York City.
So, I mean, with Carrie Bradshaw's happy ending at the end of the original show, from my perspective, I'm just thinking, like, if you end up marrying a guy who is cheating on his ex-wife with you, wouldn't you just think the same thing would happen all over again because he's a cheater?
Oh, I have to rage about one more thing for a minute, and then I'll shut up, I promise.
No, go ahead.
This last episode. So, like I said, Aiden said, I don't want to see you for 5 years. But now they're seeing each other a little bit here and there. He'll, give her whatever scraps.
They're having a situationship.
Yeah, she at 60 years old.
Yeah.
She bought a mansion with her dead husband's money that she's floating around like Norma Desmond, like, oh, it's our house. He's going to join me in 5 years here. Mm-hmm. But they don't acknowledge that she's delusional. Anyway, you see Aiden's ex-wife, and you're like, why didn't he stay with her? She seems like a sweet lady. Oh, no, we're not allowed to have sweet ladies. She calls up Carrie Bradshaw in the last episode, and she's like, hey, I heard you're coming here. Can you do me a favor? Can you score some Adderall for my son? And it's never acknowledged. This is weird. So Carrie Bradshaw goes to her friends who have kids, and she's like, can you get me some Adderall? Oh, of course, every child is on it. I'll just go to the playground. And they show every child being on prescription drugs as if this is a normal thing that we should just accept.
Well, it's normal, but it doesn't mean that it's something to celebrate.
They're acting like it is.
Yeah, but that's the thing is they're not going to frame it as something to celebrate. They'll frame it as it's simply a reflection of the truth of our society.
The way it is now, right?
Yeah.
And I listened to, they have the Writers' Room podcast of this. If you can imagine, it was written by actual writers talking about how it was so important to show that because how these kids are struggling that they can't get enough Adderall. There's a shortage, and they just can't access the mind-altering pharmaceutical drugs that they need.
It says about half of U.S. children ages 3 to 17 with current ADHD are taking ADHD medication. 53%, 53.6%.
Jesus, that is terrifying. And the other half are on SSRIs, probably.
Yeah. No, they're on...
Or both.
Concerta instead of Adderall.
Oh, gosh. So the worst thing that Sarah Jessica Parker has to say about her character, Carrie Bradshaw, is that she has made mistakes and not been mature in love, which is only human. So I want to address her actual argument. Like, do we think female characters in TV shows or movies are held to a double standard of morality compared to male characters? Is Carrie Bradshaw perhaps a bad person but gets more flack than she should because she's female?
I don't think she gets enough.
The one example I can come up with that supports that argument is honestly Skylar in Breaking Bad, because she, in my opinion, didn't do anything wrong in the series until she cheated on Walt.
The examples that they were giving when I was reading the tweets about this were like male characters will be serial killers and get like hype reels made about them,
Like Patrick Bateman.
like Patrick Bateman,
Or like Joe and you.
But they did that with Jennifer's Body. They do that with her character.
Okay,
from that,
wait.
so.
All you have to do is be
So
hot.
the thing is murder is actually treated differently than other types of moral actions.
True.
I would say that men that cheat in movies would probably get more leeway because that aspect of the character is just one aspect, whereas the women that they're talking about, maybe it plays a bigger role than what their actual character represents.
Mm-hmm.
So a female character that cheats, that becomes the embodiment of their character, whereas it's just made part of a male's more complicated, larger backstory.
Well, my understanding of Carrie Bradshaw from just like clips I've seen here and there is that she's just like demonically obsessed with Big, and she just like thinks of nothing else but how to achieve his affections and how to get his attention from him, and there's like literally no other purpose in her life.
She's demonically obsessed with herself because, Big isn't around anymore. The actor got Me Too'd. We can't have strong male characters.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Who is the actor?
Chris Noth.
Oh, Chris Knott. Yeah, the Law and Order guy.
I'll give you an example, though. I think there's a difference between male characters who are written into the story as being kind of morally gray, anti-heroes, somewhat evil, like a Tony Soprano. That's what we expect from him. I would compare something like that to this show, The Good Wife, where she was kind of written to be a bitch, and you knew that's what you were getting, and you liked that. But somebody like Carrie Bradshaw is supposed to be like the hero. We're supposed to worship her, and oh, she's fabulous and all these things, and she's demonic.
Well, even Sarah Jessica Parker seems to be a fan, which is insane, but she has to defend it. Thank you for the spark notes, though, on
I apologize.
on Sex and the City.
Chat,
and,
I apologize to put you through
and
this.
the reboot, which, by the way, and Just Like That, is that a reference to the original?
Something she used to
Something
say
she-
in the original.
S-
They couldn't have
saying-
sex or a city this time.
Yeah, No Sex, No City. That's a better title.
It is torture. It makes the second movie look good, and the second movie is where they go on a vacation to the Middle East. And there's literally a scene, I promise I'll shut up after this. There's literally a scene where they're going through the market in the Middle East, and one of them drops her purse, and condoms fall out of it, and she starts throwing condoms at the Islamic fundamentalists. So, the women of the Middle East, in burqas, covered head to toe, help them escape to hide in their cave, wearing burqas, and then they take the burqas off, and they're wearing all the same designer outfits that they are.
Aww.
And so
That
they
is
escape.
such a heartwarming moment.
They escape the Middle East covered in burqas, and Sarah Jessica Parker, at 60 years old, catches a cab by flashing her ankle. And that looks good compared to this reboot.
Okay, so I feel like maybe this is just my straight male brain. I'm like looking through a list of shows that I've watched, and I'm not seeing any like literally none of the stories about this type of morality are like sticking out to me. I'm seeing lots of characters that are definitely like not good people, but are definitely the star of the show, where they will do things like cheat, but they're kind of not held to the standard. But it's not like those storylines don't interest me, and I think that they don't interest men, which is why the men aren't held to the same standard, because women are the ones that are more interested in that type of storytelling. Like if I'm thinking about like the show Republic of Doyle, which I love, which is about this private investigator in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, and he's his personal life is a mess. He's absolutely a man whore, but in general, he's still a good person in that he takes care of his family and loved ones, but he makes mistakes. And most of the show, what I love about that show is it shows like what we've talked about recently, which is like the female characters in that show get what they want by appealing to just how dumb men can be when pussy is put in front of them, basically. Like they take advantage of men.
This is more realistic.
Yes, it's more
Yeah,
realistic.
sounds
Like
it.
that came up when we were talking about Ballerina. Like, why isn't she like seducing men? Which is like how the women in that show got what they want. But it doesn't portray it as a good thing. It portrays him as an idiot for falling for it whenever it happens. Like on multiple occasions, he like corners somebody doing something wrong, and basically they pretend to come on to him and then like put him in handcuffs and like strip him and hang him on like by his hands so that he has to be rescued while naked. Like they're not portraying him as a good person. It's just funny so you'll forgive him. So I feel like it's just like those like the idea of creating hype reels around guys who commit murders is because like men find that fascinating. Whereas,
or in the case of Penn Badgley, in You, women actually find that attractive.
Oh, some
in a
men
sick
do
way.
too.
And some men.
Olivia's not happy. She said my name in all caps, and I think I
Hey,
swore,
Olivia.
so she's not happy with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
I was
thank you.
gonna
Thank you for educating us on Sex and the
I
City.
apologize
I
that
couldn't
you-
have
No,
done it
that was
without
great.
you. I truly couldn't have covered this topic without your knowledge.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.